Hello everyone, and welcome to a quick intro on my Pokemon DS hacking tutorials. In my first video, I made a joke that most tutorials I could find were like 10 years old. Well now, those videos started over 5 years ago, so I thought it might be time to make an updated introduction. As you'd expect, things have definitely changed over the years. Mostly, this is just going to be a quick list of details I think will be important to know before watching any of my videos, that I hope will give you a better start for how things are today. So the first topic I'd like to cover is, who am I? As in, where do I fit in the DS hacking community? There are many levels of skilled hackers out there, like gym leader level hackers, out there making their own full custom regions, or Elite 4 level hackers that make entire new tools for the rest of us to use. So obviously, that makes me that one drunk guy who teaches you how to throw a Pokeball. What I mean by that is that my videos are a great place to start getting into DS hacking, but I am by no means a master. I first learned hacking for a very small project I made for the Challenger Approaching TV Twitch channel that I belonged to. Tutorials were a bit sparse back then, so it took about a year to learn various things like editing sprites, text, and trainer teams. So once that project was done, I thought I'd try my hand at explaining what I learned in case it helped out others like me. And a lot more people have checked out these videos than I originally anticipated. I also say that because I try to structure these videos specifically for new people who are looking to get into DS-ROM hacking, where that also means I can't promise that the methods I show are always the most effective way to do things. So after learning from me here, always be on the lookout for ways to improve as you progress. We'll also try to release updated videos as I learn better methods as well. Alright, let's see here. The next detail is the Tools zip folder. So in the description of every video, there are 2 alternate links you can pick from to download a zip folder that I made that contains a copy of the exact tools that I show in my videos. In my experience, having the exact version of a tool that you are being taught about is very helpful when you are first getting started, as updated versions might move buttons around or things like that. Admittedly, this setup worked pretty well when making my original videos, as tools weren't really changing back then. However, in the past few years, some new tool developers have stepped in and really bolstered the DS hacking community. My zip folder here still keeps the same versions of these newer tools that I use in my videos, but nowadays you want to make sure to check for newer versions of them often. These are tools like Pokemon Map Studio, DSPRE, and PokeEditor. I usually try to include a link to where new versions are located in the zip folder to make them easier to check for. Oh, and there have been occasional reports of various antivirus flagging this folder as a malicious file, where obviously I do not make these tools. They have been checked for viruses and such, and should be clean. What seems to happen is that these fan-made tools can seem a bit suspicious and get flagged only as a precaution. However, if you ever feel like you have found a genuine threat in the folder, please leave me a comment and I will investigate it right away. The last thing I want to do is be passing around viruses. Okay, where are we? Oh yes. The next detail is an important one. What games do my videos work for? When I first started, I only knew about hacking Platinum, which is why it's the game I'm usually working with in most of my videos. However, since then, I have become more familiar with other games as well. So to enhance how helpful my videos can be, I started including a link to a Google Doc in the zip folder that has a list of all important file locations for each DS game. That way you can still follow along with my videos that show Platinum, but hopefully be able to find the corresponding files in your ROM and still be able to hack Heart Gold, for example. Now you will see sections in here for Gen 5 games. However, since I started making these videos, I have learned how very different Gen 5 editing is than Gen 4. So sadly, most of my videos here only work for Gen 4 ROMs at this time. However, if you are looking for help getting into Gen 5 hacking, there is still an option, which actually leads me directly into the next detail. There's a Discord! A few months after I started uploading tutorials, I made the Kingdom of DS Hacking Discord, Originally, it was meant to just be a place that I could invite people to, where I could answer questions on my videos personally. However, over time, more and more people started to join as the tutorials got more views, and also much more skilled people as well. Pretty soon, questions were getting asked that I didn't have any idea about, but other members kindly stepped in to help. So the server was restructured with new chats centered around people asking each other questions. I always feared that as the server grew, that eventually there would understandably get to be too many questions to answer. But as of this recording, we are nearing 4,000 members and things are still going strong. So at this stage, I no longer call it my hacking server. I owe too much to the dedicated people who have joined and spent up to actual years in there helping to answer questions and progress the community. Even more so since they are the ones who are helping me learn new things to make videos on. Also, as I said before, there are chats in there for both Gen 4 and 5 questions. Gen 4 hacking has progressed a bit further than Gen 5, but there are people in there working to help Gen 5 catch up. So what you want may not be possible to do yet, but coming to the Discord is a great place to check. There's a link in the description of all of my videos that you can use to join. Alright, next we got indexing your sprites. Many of my videos are on editing sprites in the game, and for a few types of sprites, you need to change them into index mode before the ROM can accept them. This is basically adding coding into your image that links each pixel to a color on a palette, basically turning it into a paint-by-numbers picture of sorts. Back when I was first learning, the only program I could find that could properly index sprites in a way that Pokemon ROMs liked them was one called ASEPRITE. So that is the program that I show in most of my videos, and explain it had to be bought on Steam. However, since then, I learned that you can also index them with Photoshop and a free program called Graphic Scale. So if you check out episode 8 first, you can also learn one of those two programs instead. I also later learned that ASEPRITE is also completely open source. So if you are familiar with compiling source code, you can get ASEPRITE for free off of their official GitHub, which I linked in the description. While I'll vouch that this program is great and worth paying for, I'll leave that for you to decide on your own. Next up is packing your Narcs. Tinke is still a core program for when working with DS ROMs, and there is one very important step that you want to know when working with it. Anytime that you unpack a Narc to see its contents, you then must remember to click that Narc name again and click Pack once your changes are done. For packing, commit your changes to the ROM. If you do not do this first, the new ROM you save will not show any of your edited files. In my first few episodes, I was a dingus and forgot to mention this step at all. So this has been a very common issue people have run into when first learning. So I just wanted to mention it here to help kind of rectify that. Oh, while we were talking about Tinke, some of the file extensions that Tinke show are reversed. I had no idea about this for years until someone let me know that the sprite files like the RGCNs that I show in episode 2 don't actually exist. Those are actually NCGR files, and Tinke has just been accidentally reversing them for years. This does not break how Tinke works, so it's still okay to use. It's just something I wanted to mention in case you run into any people or other tools who refer to these extensions by their proper name, so that you aren't blindsided like I was. Alright, so the only detail left is Rom Hacking Legal? Oh boy, I have gotten this question a couple of times. However, sadly, with all the nuance surrounding ROMs, I don't think I'm anywhere near qualified enough to accurately answer this. So please don't take anything I say in these videos as legal advice if you're concerned about this. No matter what, ROM hacking will most likely always exist in a bit of a legal gray area, so all I can really say is to only get as deep into ROM hacking as you personally feel comfortable. My personal rule of thumb is to make sure to own a copy of any Pokemon game that I hack, where my goal here is only to teach others how to edit their ROMs as a creative hobby. I had an absolute blast personalizing my Platinum game. Strangely, the more I learned how to change it, the more connected I felt to one of my favorite game series. So I just wanted to give others a chance to experience that as well. If there is one thing I could advise against doing, it would be monetizing your hack in any way. Once money gets involved, you immediately start losing that legal gray area. To that end, I also won't be monetizing this video series at all, just in case that helps keep these videos and the Discord in the clear. The community has mostly been running fine for years now, but it can sometimes be hard not to feel like Nintendo's ninjas could be watching. So it's just good to be safe. But that's about it. You should now be able to follow along with any one of my videos. However, if any questions do arise, feel free to leave a comment or come by the Discord. I very much hope that these videos are helpful to you, and hope that you enjoy your journey into Pokemon DS hacking. Good night, everybody!